It's an early start to Super Tuesday, presented by Progressive. All part of the Road to Champ Week, presented by Wendy's. 4 of the top 6 teams in the nation play right here on ESPN over the next 4 hours. Michigan, Illinois, that tips at 7 Eastern. That's number 2 against number 4. Right now we've got number 3 against number 6. West Virginia hosts Baylor. And we are happy that you can be with us to bring this game to you from Morgantown. Bob Wischusen and Fran Fraschilla. And Fran, in case folks are wondering about the early tip time, a 5 p.m. start for 2 of the best teams in America, it's because of the world we're living in right now. This is the 4th time they've tried to play this game this season. They finally get it scheduled. A 3-week pause for Baylor, a big reason why. That also helped lead to their first loss of the season to Kansas on Saturday. So I guess we're all wondering, who is Baylor right now?
Well, I'm not sure, Bob. Honestly, I'm anxious to find out. In West Virginia, in Morgantown, this is a bad place to find out. The Mountaineers have won 8 out of 9 in conference play. And as good as Baylor has been over 2 years, 43-5, I'm anxious to see how they look today because they did not play well last week.
It's been the same starting lineup basically all season long for Baylor, as they are coming off of a performance on Saturday afternoon, Fran, against Kansas, where for those of us that have watched Baylor play this season, that was not Baylor we saw on Saturday. Now, there's no question Kansas deserves all the credit in the world for playing a very solid game, but what are you hoping to see differently if you're Scott Drew from your team? Outside of the obvious, just shoot the ball better, but where will you start to realize Baylor is looking like their old selves again?
First step, quickness on both ends of the floor, reaction time. And if I were Scott Drew, I'd tell his team, when we miss shots today, let's miss long and not short. They missed an awful lot of shots because of their legs. And Bob, one last thing. No offense to Kansas, they're playing great, but every team in this league that's going to the NCAA tournament would have beaten Baylor on Saturday night, in my opinion. That's how poorly they played. And this is a drive and kick offense.
There's the drive, and it rolls home to start the game for MaCio T. He had 18 against Kansas on Saturday, but Jared Butler with only 5 points, 1 of 7 from 3. Davion Mitchell had 13. He was only 1 of 5 from three-point land. And even MaCio Teague scoring his 18. He didn't shoot the ball well. He was 7 of 20 from the field. So none of the players that we normally see putting up their usual high level of efficient production for Baylor did that against Kansas.
Yeah, you missed 3 weeks of practice. I don't care who you are. You're going to lose your edge. And again, nothing against Kansas, who's playing really well right now. But certainly this is not the Baylor team we saw 3 weeks ago, Bob. And I'm anxious to see if they will get it back. We don't know the answer. No one's been through this before. To have a team have 8 players suffer the virus 3 weeks out, and to be so good so early and now not to be sure about who they are is unique.
Culver, double team, hit the side of the backboard, and Mark Vital is able to pull it down.
We know Baylor's got a good backcourt. There's that speed. Look at that right there. That's a good start by Davion Mitchell, blowing by a good defender in Deuce McBride.
McNeil, hounded by Teague, finds a cutter. Jalen Bridges rejected at the rim. Here's Culver in traffic. He'll muscle one up, and he will go to the free throw line. Derek Culver finds his way there often. He averages about 7.5 fouls drawn per 40 minutes played. And Scott Drew has done an amazing job. We talk about it every time we have a Baylor game, but it certainly bears repeating, the renaissance of this program under Scott Drew.
No question. And I really enjoyed last night the Bob Huggins Coaches Show because his special guest was Scott Drew. And I don't think people realize the relationship the coaches in the Big 12 have with each other. First coach he's had on the air this year, Bob Huggins, and it was really fun to listen to those guys. We know how good this Baylor backcourt is, but West Virginia, one of their strengths lately has been the play of the three guards. And how about Mark Vital?
He'll have a chance for an old-fashioned three-point play, as it seems like the early game plan is take the ball to the basket for Baylor. That's their third layup.
Well, I like that, Bob, because these guys did not, I think one of the things that really went over the 3 weeks was, and we saw it in the first two games, was the outside shooting. So this team, between the backcourt, guys like Vital, later on, Chamo Chachua will be in the game. These guys attack the glass. I think that's a good way to go about it right now. Remember, West Virginia has morphed into a more perimeter-oriented team with the three guards playing well, the freshman Jalen Bridges at the 4 spot, and certainly the workhorse inside, Derek Culver, who will be first-team All-League.
Matthews, a rainbow fadeaway, tipped out of bounds by Culver. So a real good start for Baylor, as Bob Huggins' team is now 0 for 3 from the field.
And there's Bob Huggins, the bear they call him, sometimes Grizzly, sometimes Teddy.
There's a deep jumper off the mark for Davion Mitchell, but it's saved by Vital. Teague picks up his dribble. Jared Butler with 5 to shoot. Step back 3. Got it.
Now this is certainly a good start for Baylor. Based on last week, they look a little sharper, Bob, but it's early going. Defensively, they've been rock solid. Remember, this is one of the best defensive teams in the country. Elite on both ends of the floor.
As McBride tried to force one up, he was shut down by Butler. Hesitation dribble for Butler. Leans in. What a start for Baylor. Coming off the loss to Kansas, you wanted to see if they would come out and look like the Baylor of old. This is a really good early return. These first 3.5 minutes, they have dominated, and West Virginia wants a timeout.
Well, Jared Butler, who was a Kansas killer until Saturday night when he just laid an egg, is back on track. The All-American, he's back.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. Visit progressive.com. And in part by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball. In Morgantown, this is the Big 12 on ESPN. Bob Wischusen, Fran Fraschilla. An early start to Super Tuesday, and Fran, a Big 12 battle that we expect, but a big start for Baylor as they've got the early 10-point lead.
Just what they needed. They arrived in Morgantown on Sunday. They did not go back to Waco. They got to practice twice. They got, I think, a little bit of mental rest, if you will, and they come out sharp, Bob, to get started.
And out of the huddle, they go right to Taz Sherman. So Bob Huggins dials up a Taz Sherman opportunity the moment he steps in the game, and he makes it pay off.
Well, Sherman, McNeil, and McBride, 42 points between them in Big 12 play, shooting the ball terrific from deep.
Teague a little too strong from the corner. McBride at the elbow. That was blocked from behind.
Baylor's foul whistled on Mark Vital.
They're actually going to call a foul on Mark Vital, so that will put McBride at the free throw line. Vital thought he got the ball clean.
Yeah, he was selling it. Let's take a look from behind. Let's watch.
There's like a little on the wrist, right?
Yeah, I think he did. I think that's a good call. Mark Vital, who is the winningest Baylor player in Big 12 play in its history. You know, how about this, Bob? Mark Vital committed to Baylor. You ready for this? September 2013. 7.5 years ago. He was a high school sophomore. out of Lake Charles, Louisiana, and it seems that he's been in Waco that long, certainly. But what an addition he's been as Baylor has built this program into a top 5 to top 10 power. And we've always chronicled the effort and energy that this guy plays with. By the way, Gabe Osaboyan, who's in the game right now for Baylor, the transfer from Arkansas, these two guys are essentially identical in the effort and the behind-the-scenes energy they bring to both teams.
It seems like, especially with all of these teams being so good in this league, there's this kind of guy that does this kind of job for each team in the Big 12. Certainly the good ones.
Oh, totally agree. Christian Brown at Kansas, I love his energy. Harkless at Oklahoma, Brock Cunningham at Texas. I agree.
Davion Mitchell adds to the Baylor lead.
Well, this guy has been Baylor's best outside shooter this year. He's a front runner for the Naismith National Defensive Player of the Year. But his offense is a reason why he's going to likely end up as a first-round draft pick.
That pass a little too hard for Culver to handle. Vital gets the steal. And Butler stepped on the sideline.
That drives me crazy, Bob. I've said it a couple times this season. You got to play 88 by 44. It's an old Dick DiVenzio line, a former player at Duke, a great basketball mentor. You don't play 94 by 50 in basketball. You have to stay off the sidelines and off the baseline, and you have to educate your feet on that sideline with that three-point line over there.
Growing up, I don't remember anyone just randomly stepping out of bounds. It happens all the time now at the NBA level and at the college level.
Yeah, because they've moved the three-point line out, Bob, the young players don't educate their feet down there. It's a different footwork than you are shooting the three ball than it is from out top or on the sides.
Culver leans in. He'll go back to the free throw line. Looks like Chamna Chachua picks up his first.
You know, out top and on the wings, you can 1-2 step into your shot, but those sideline corners, you have to slide along the line, and it's something that has to be developed as in terms of your footwork and your skill level.
Well, Fran, do you find this is probably a common theme in all sports? Players are bigger, faster, stronger. They cover more real estate. We see it in hockey. The rink looks smaller now. We see it in the NFL and college football. I mean, guys even find a hard time creating some space near the sideline just because these athletes are so big and so strong, and they use every inch of the playing surface now. Would you widen the court? Would you lengthen it to respond to the bigger, faster player?
Nope, I wouldn't. By the way, Matthew Meyer getting started. No, I wouldn't, because in the NBA, Bob, we talk about corner threes, right?
Yep.
And the guys that make the corner threes have educated their feet in that corner. And by the way, this is exactly the start that Scott Drew was looking for. This team is chasing its first conference title in 71 years.
Taz Sherman fouled on a reach-in by Davion Mitchell.
Follows whistled on Davion Mitchell. That's his first.
You know, the two coaches are products of two great coaches in their families. Homer Drew, a great coach, obviously, at Valparaiso for many years, and Charlie Huggins, one of the great high school coaches in the history of the state of Ohio. These two guys have a lot in common.
How about that step back by Deuce McBride?
Continues to get better and better, only a sophomore. We're watching that maturation into an all-league player.
A little sloppy down the lane, but recovering is Butler. A scramble for the loose ball. On the deck, digging it out, Osaboyan, but it ends up with Butler.
Got to recognize that shot clock. Did not reset.
Down to 5. Davion Mitchell, one-on-one. There's the step back, and there's the three.
When he starts to measure the defender with his dribbling, what he's trying to do is create a little bit of space. He doesn't think he can drive it, so he's just trying to measure the defender and freeze him and just create that space. So he is a great off-the-dribble shooter.
The Bears are 4 for 6 from behind the arc. Culver, he's trying to find some space. Swarming defense. Here's McNeil for 3. He gets the soft roll.
I'll I'm telling you, when you talk about McBride, Sherman, and McNeil, they're not quite at the level of the Baylor Bears, but only in a sense that they're a little bit less experienced in Big 12 play. But boy, have they gotten better and better.
Easy dump down for Chama-Chachua. And a nice find by Adam Flagler.
Both of these teams essentially have 7 or 8 starters. Both benches deep.
Chama-Chachua fouls Culver.
Baylor foul whistle on number
Deuce McBride out of Moeller High School, the former high school quarterback. Take a look. Murder in the mid-range. Step back. Woo! Floater. Got it. Take a look. Matt Meyer playing the D. Reaching in. Not a good move. Pretty step back. Really accurate in that 10-foot, what we call that mid to high paint range.
McNeil. That hit the backboard first. Meyer finds a cutter in Vital, and he draws the Osabuoyen foul.
foul whistled on Osabuoyen. His first, second, team foul.
You mentioned these players being kind of mirror images of one another.
Yes.
Mark Vital in the loss to Kansas on Saturday. 8 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Gabe Osabuoyen in their win against Kansas State on Saturday for West Virginia. Didn't score. 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. Talk about affecting a game and never finding the box score in terms of points.
No question, Bob. Osabuoyen has 17 charges taken this year and about 130 deflections. Not steals, but plays that he gets his hand on the ball, knocks it out of bounds, disrupts the offense. There's sloppy play. But to your point, both of those guys mean a lot to these teams, and that's why these teams are ranked where they are.
West Virginia turnover gives it back to Baylor. The early double-digit lead in Morgantown.
Here we go.
There was a lot to bear for Baylor in February. Started off well enough. A win over number 6 Texas that got them to 17-0 and rolling along as the number 2 team in America. But then 5 postponements and cancellations due to COVID. A 21-day pause that led to a lackluster win against Iowa State and a loss on Saturday against Kansas. And their last couple of games, you could see, they looked like a very rusty version of Baylor as their points per game and field goal percentage shooting all around, especially from 3, went way down. But Bob Wischusen and Fran Fraschilla watching the return maybe of Baylor today, Fran, as they are 4 for their first 6 from three-point land this afternoon.
They look sharper, Bob. One of the things that happened in that time period is Scott Drew consulted with a number of his close friends who had already been through similar circumstances, and the consensus was it would take 3 to 4 games to really get back to where they were. Of course, it's still uncharted territory, so he wasn't exactly sure. Didn't know how much to practice, how many games, whether to scrimmage in practice, whether to rest them. Again, because they'd never been through this before. But so far today, fairly sharp.
Giving up an offensive rebound here, though. As leaning in was Jalen Bridges, but he lost it.
Even those passes not quite on target.
Behind the back pass, Maceo Teague turns it over. McNeil plays catch with Taz Sherman, who pulls up and knocks it down from the elbow.
That play right there is indicative of what happened when they went to the smaller lineup. Because Sherman is so dangerous on the three-point line, it has opened up the drives for him, McBride, and McNeil. Even with Culver inside, there's room to operate for those guards inside and out.
Deuce McBride lost it, found it again, bounced it off the foot of Teague, and now it ends up out on the wing for a wide open look, but Bridges couldn't connect. Teague from the corner. That's an air ball.
They made some shots early, Bob, but I'm not convinced that they're as sharp as they need to be right now, Baylor. I think the door's open for West Virginia. See the spacing now. They're going to try to get 4 out. They can drive it. They can score it inside. Look at that.
How about the fake and the spin move by Taz Sherman?
I've said it before, Taz Sherman was okay as a junior college transfer last year. He's been great this year. I would exploit the NCAA at West Virginia and come back to school next year. Take advantage of that extra year, Taz. You could be a star next year.
We're coming back in 30 seconds. Road to Champ Week, presented by Wendy's, continues after our game with 2 more great ones tonight. First, we've got a Sonic blockbuster at 7 Eastern. Number 4 against number 2. It's Illinois and Michigan. And then at 9 Eastern, it's Kentucky taking on Ole Miss in Oxford. It is indeed a Super Tuesday, presented by Progressive. Tonight on ESPN and the ESPN app. And Fran, ever since Bob Huggins put Taz Sherman in the game, he's made an impact.
Well, he has, and he's made an impact all year, Bob. We always say this in coaching. It takes a junior college transfer a year to really get acclimated. He and McNeil have done that this year. I would advise any young man, especially JUCO kids, who have the free year. If you're not going to be an NBA player, trust me, you'll make about $3 or $4 grand in Denmark next year. You're much better off coming back to college, playing in the Big 12, and maybe getting a master's degree. The pro basketball in Europe will be there for him. Next year, Taz Sherman can be one of the best guards in this league. He already is starting to be.
Here he is on the move, scoring again.
Hey, we saw it last night in Stillwater, where on senior night, Mike Boynton said to Bryce Williams, his JUCO transfer from Ole Miss, we got a spot for you if you want to come back for another senior year. I think it's a good idea. Take advantage of what the NCAA has laid out and continue to play college basketball.
Butler back in the game, hits an NBA 3 after what was once a 12-point lead for Baylor had been whittled all the way down to 5 by West Virginia. Sherman feeling it. Got it again.
Yep. How about that? How hot is he? No Division I offers coming out of high school. Went to Collin County Community College up in Dallas. And as a freshman, he had a couple in the Southland Conference. As a sophomore year, he blossomed. And obviously this year as a senior, he has been terrific. So has McNeil.
Culver faces up, gets under the basket, and he is fouled on the floor on the drive.
There he is. He averaged about
10 of West Virginia's 20.
Well, he had 28 his sophomore year in junior college. He's starting to become the same kind of scorer in the Big 12.
Time to hear from Jared Butler in our Wendy's Wooden Watch.
I think I'm worthy of the Wooden Award because my team wins. I think I do a great job of leading the guys on and off the court. I think my ability to pass and score is at a high level, and I think just doing it on the best team in the country.
Shoes and Fran Fraschilla bringing you West Virginia and Baylor. And, you know, Fran, for a player like Butler, it's interesting. His numbers are impactful up and down the stat sheet. But when you miss as many games as Baylor has missed this season, how do you factor that in this most strange of years, postseason awards?
Well, I think the consensus was 3 weeks ago that he was not only probably the Big 12 player of the year, but a first-team All-American. I'm going to reserve judgment till the end of the week, but as of today, I think he is still going to be the Big 12 player of the year. The best player on the best team clearly over the course of the season, Bob. And I don't think the pause should harm his status. The game Saturday was an aberration, but I think if you talk to most coaches in this league, they'll tell you that despite some great performances by some great players like Cunningham and Reeves. This guy, he's the straw that stirs the drink. All of them tonight. Mitchell off the dribble. Matthew Meyer. I mean, this team is ridiculous. They've been in a major slump over 2 games, and they're still shooting 42% behind the arc, and they're still #1 in the country. Today, they've got their shooting legs back, but I'm not convinced yet that they're as sharp defensively as they need to be.
Jordan McCabe with 7 to shoot. Hands it off to Jalen Bridges. Old school running one-hander won't go, but an offensive rebound by Matthews. He's triple teamed, and it's a held ball. The possession arrow will keep it with the Mountaineers. It's not a very big crowd, obviously, about 20% at WVU Coliseum, but it's a loud crowd. We know that. If you've ever been to a big-time home game, and now they get the takeaway, does Baylor, and they were not happy with that call. Teague, nice find along the baseline for an easy flush by Chamo Chachua.
Yeah, that's what we call the dunker spot. Be off the lane, on the baseline, and wait for penetration. You shoot a high percentage of those if you wait on the baseline behind your defender. As he helps up, you're ready to catch and dunk.
Emmett Matthews contested 2. And Butler's got the rebound. ACO Teague has another.
Yep. They don't miss those. They are as good at the floater game as anybody in college basketball. Those guards shoot over 60% inside the lane. We talk about finishing, they finish.
There's a wide open triple knocked down by Bridges.
This kid's going to be a star someday. Remember, he was off to prep school last year, and Bob Huggins, on the very first day of West Virginia classes, the kid visited, and Bob said, why don't you just spend your redshirt year here instead of going to high school? Practice against our guys every day. He has really made a great performance as a freshman. Good look inside. That's a breakdown.
You know, we're talking about how good Baylor has been from 3. They're 5 for 10. They are now 8 for 10 from 2-point land. They're shooting 65%. They're 13 of 20 from the field. This is still a game that's well within West Virginia's reach, but they have to tighten up defensively.
Yes.
Because they are allowing easy buckets. Here's Sherman, and he is fouled by Butler.
Well, take a look now. Watch Chamo Chachua. He'll be on the baseline, sneaking in behind his defender. And then right here, just stay back behind the ball, and it'll come to you. And then watch Mark Vital right here. This is just a breakdown defensively. 2 guys running with 1, a shooter, and Vital says, I'll take it. I'll add to my free field goal percentage. There was some talk early in conference play, Bob, that Mark Vital was not playing with the vitality that they were used to with him. But last part of the season before the pause, he was back on track. 7 points, 7 rebounds a game, and one of the most fearsome competitors that the Big 12 has seen in a long time.
Scott Drew's team trying to win their first conference title since 1950. 71 years since they last won the Southwest Conference title. They've got 5 all-time titles, all back from the 20s to the 50s in the Southwest Conference. Baylor, for so many years, was a Big 12 afterthought. They are a Big 12 champion in the making if they can win today. And here comes ACO Teague trying to build on a 7-point lead. He'll lob it, and trying to climb up the back of Jalen Bridges was Vital, and it looks like they've got Bridges for the foul. And Vital is shaken up.
Yeah, Vital took off, and it looked like Bridges just inadvertently got underneath him. I didn't think it was a great decision to throw the lob there. Watch right here. You know, my officiating friends will say that's a foul, but I'm not sure what Jalen Bridges can do right there. He's just entitled to the same space, right? He was almost vertical, really.
That three won't go for Teague. Bridges saves it. Deuce McBride has been quiet so far. He'll feed McNeil here in transition. The long rebound, and it's snatched away by Teague. ACO Teague tied up, double teamed. Down on the deck, Kedrian Johnson. And it looked like he was able to wrestle it away, but it will stay with Baylor.
Well, and that's still, Bob, some of the sloppiness we talked about from Baylor. Getting stuck in that corner. Take a look right here. Teague just not sure with the ball in traffic. Yep, they're winning right now. But I still see signs of, you know, that the pause, the 3 weeks, not practicing. They're just not as sharp. Now, they're making some shots. There's been some defensive breakdowns. But I think right now Baylor are fortunate to be up 7.
And when I see those standings, all I can think about, Fran, is anticipating you, me, and the rest of our crew in Kansas City to call the Big 12 tournament during Champ Week next week, when we will go to Kansas City with 7 of the 10 teams in the Big 12 ranked.
Yeah, Bob, I think that in some years, you know that a team is going to the tournament out of this league as an 8 seed, 10 seed, 11 seed with no chance really to advance. I think all 7 teams absolutely have a chance to get at least to the Sweet 16 this year. We've seen how good Texas was early. They can get it back. We know how Oklahoma is at full strength. We've seen the emergence of a terrific young Oklahoma State team.
An offensive foul on Culver. Angered the crowd. Now a takeaway by Jalen Bridges. And he'll get the return for McBride.
This is a big possession right here.
McBride penetrates. Off glass.
Yep. Oh, yeah, they're in this game. There's no doubt they are in this game. And this is the best offensive team, in my opinion, Bob Huggins has had since 2010, the Final Four team.
Butler tried to cross over on Kedrian Johnson. Now he gets it back. Spins into a double team. Tied up. Shot clock violation. Defense firing up the Mountaineers in a Big 12 battle. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's. Try the new jalapeno popper chicken sandwich and salad today at participating U.S. Wendy's.
I think Baylor's playing hard. They're competing. The question is, coming back from that pause still, how long can they play hard and how long can they continue to compete at the level to win this game? What do you think, Franny?
Nobody knows, Seth. This is uncharted water, buddy. You and I both know how hard it was when your kids went home for Christmas break for 4 days, let alone 21 days of no basketball.
Kedrian Johnson to the free throw line. They call a charge on Kedrian Johnson, and he seems perplexed, as does Hugs, as does the crowd.
Now let's watch. No, I don't see anything there. No. Nope. Nope. It's a young man from Dallas playing against a team from Waco.
Wide open Butler. Front rim, offensive rebound, Meyer. Butler tries again. That one's in and out. Another offensive rebound and a hustle play by Baylor to keep it alive. That three won't go for Davion Mitchell, but it's run
that's
down
pretty good hustle.
yet again by Flagler.
All guards rebounding.
Butler on the drive. Baylor still keeps it alive. Mitchell lost it. Butler finds it. Meyer to the baseline with a shot fake. How many looks does Baylor get to come away empty?
Well, that's to my point, Bob. They got off to a hot start, but I think they've lost their edge. Maybe it is fatigue.
And McBride comes down to the other end and smoothly hits a triple to make it a 2-point game.
No fatigue from Deuce McBride. He's shooting over 40% on the season from behind the arc. Well, West Virginia has weathered that early storm.
Mitchell to Meyer. That
Tough
won't
shot.
go. Another offensive rebound by a guard in Flagler. The follow by Meyer, and he missed the bunny, and he can't believe it. Penetration, and this time a blocking foul is called on the drive by Kedrian Johnson as Chamo Chachua picks up the personal.
Now that looked like a charge. Let's take a look. That's a charge. The other one was a no call. So these three officials now have got to get their act together. But here's the more important thing, Bob. We were not sure about Baylor coming into this game because they have not played well. After the first 5 minutes, they are not playing well. This is a golden opportunity for West Virginia right now.
Thursday night on ESPN, we've got two big rivalry games on deck for you. First at 7 Eastern, Michigan State, Michigan. That one in Ann Arbor. And then it's another Red River showdown between Texas and Oklahoma in Norman. Another great doubleheader of college basketball on ESPN. Thursday night, both games on ESPN and the ESPN app.
You know, normally during conference play, you look at your schedule and you say, well, this 4-game stretch is a gauntlet. This year in the Big 12, the entire season has been a gauntlet. How about Oklahoma, now struggling, has to play Texas on Thursday night, another team that needs a win, and they're both comfortably in the NCAA tournament.
Foul called near midcourt on Jalen Bridges. West Virginia had a foul to give.
Oh, that's an unfortunate foul. Yeah, that's an unfortunate foul for West Virginia because that ball had a lot of helium in it. That was close to being a steal by Bridges and just committed the foul.
Teague double teamed in the corner.
Great defense.
He dragged his pivot foot. That hustle and that defense. Osaboyan putting pressure on Maceo Teague, forced the turnover.
They are turning up the heat, and Baylor is obliging them with sloppy play. Not necessarily a surprise, but maybe only because of the quick start Baylor got out to from behind the arc.
Matthews has his pocket picked by Meyer. And Baylor can hold for the final shot of the first half with their once 12-point lead all but gone as we've got a 1-point game.
Mitchell's dangerous because he loves to shoot the three off the dribble. Also has the speed to get to the rim.
He's double teamed here. It'll be Meyer in the lane. Offensive foul call. That's his first.
Another charge for guess who? Gabe Osaboyan, number 18 on the season. He's not a rim protector above the rim. He protects the rim from the paint. Can't move.
Turnover now because you can't run the baseline if you're Taz Sherman. And he just forgot. And so now with 1.4 seconds to go, an opportunity for a catch and shoot for Baylor before halftime.
And Jared Butler checking for the Bears.
What do you have up your sleeve? This is why you practice special situations. This is onside kicks. This is field goal unit. Same thing in basketball. Do you have a catch and shoot play from underneath?
Mitchell will throw it in.
The rim is open, by the way. The rim is open. They had him.
From the corner, it is good before halftime. Butler with a step back that gives Baylor a little bit of momentum to end the first half, but they led by as many as 12. And West Virginia, Fran, cut it all the way down to 1 before that Butler jumper.
That was a big basket. It gives them a little bit of confidence going into the locker room. 5 for 17, but remember how hot they were early.
It's time for the Jeep halftime report with Seth Greenberg and LaFonso Ellis. Back to Jordan Cornette. Jordan? Welcome back to Super Tuesday, presented by Progressive, as part of Road to Champ Week, presented by Wendy's. A top 6 matchup. Number 3 Baylor, number 6 West Virginia. It's a good one. The Bears at one point with a 12-point lead. West Virginia whittled it all the way down to 1. Bob Wischusen and Fran Fraschilla set for what should be a very entertaining second 20 minutes. And Fran, kind of a wide-angle lens of Baylor coming off of the loss to Kansas and the long pause. This is their 3rd game back after the 21-day layoff. What did you see in the first half, and what would concern you the most if you're Scott Drew?
Sloppiness for sure. I expect that to get better the second half. They knew they were sloppy. I also think another concern, if I'm Scott Drew, is fatigue, which is why Bob Huggins played 10 guys in the first half, Bob. And if I were Bob Huggins, I would run those guys in and out and try to fatigue Baylor the second half. Keep in mind that Baylor does not have, nor does West Virginia, a fast break basket in this game. If I'm West Virginia, I increase the tempo a little bit and try to get Baylor into a little bit of a track meet and see if we can make fatigue a factor.
Now, kind of building off of something that Seth asked you in the first half, would that be your biggest concern if you're Scott Drew, as you said, with no roadmap? No one's been through this before. But would it be fatigue or legs kind of as the game goes on?
Yeah, I think they're a high IQ team, Bob. I think the sloppiness will abate, but I think the fatigue is something that you can't really account for. So I expect them to play better. That's a great start, but I would think fatigue is still a factor. So I would try to increase the tempo if I were West Virginia and make this game ugly. And they had nobody to throw the ball into from Deuce McBride, and West Virginia had to burn a timeout.
So we'll step aside. Mountaineers have 1 timeout left now. Only 1 timeout left for West Virginia. And Fran, here's why.
Yeah, if the ball goes through the basket and you see all 4 gold jerseys run away. Now, what happened was Emmett Matthews never checked in to start the second half, so you had the 2 big guys out there. They don't really have a pure point guard in that starting lineup, and so all 4 gold shirts ran away, and now you see Matthews back in. They go to the lineup that started the game, although right now I think Osaboyan's in there for Culver, so they just burnt a timeout for no reason.
McBride. That's off the mark. Traveling is going to be called, as getting tied up in the lane was Flo Thamba. He lost his footing.
Yeah.
And as he went down, he walked.
Well, the basketball gods rewarded West Virginia because Emmett Matthews got shoved in the back and was displaced by 5 feet, so it worked out for West Virginia.
Matthews will drive it here.
Nice.
Can't finish. What a freebie as it bounces around and ends up in the hands of Jalen Bridges.
Just what they needed. And I'm telling you, Bob, I haven't been through a COVID pause, but I've been through, situations like this with the adversity, and your team starts to doubt a little bit. I don't care how good you are, you start to doubt, and it's important for Baylor to get off to a start or find a 10-0 run here somewhere. Otherwise, they're going to keep West Virginia in this game. And obviously, we know West Virginia is 6th in the country. They're capable of getting the job done.
Butler set up T. That's over the backboard.
And that last play by West Virginia, they set the drive up, the speed angle for Matthews to the rim. He couldn't get there, but it's important to be crisp offensively right now. Watch Osaboyan. He's a terrific passer.
Screen for McNeil.
Osaboyan, it's hard to believe that a big guy who averages 1.8 points a game could have a 2-to-1 assist turnover ratio. But in addition to the charges and the deflections, he's a great passer out there.
Seven to shoot. Over the top of McNeil. ACO Teague this time knocks it down. Here's McBride out of the double team. Osaboyan with a cross-court pass that sets up Bridges. He missed everything, but a foul's going to be called on the weak side on Davion Mitchell.
Baylor foul. Whistled on number 45.
Take a look. Watch Osaboyan. Simple dribble handoff. Good solid screen. And believe me, I think he'll get credit for an assist on that. But the coaches notice that kind of stuff. And the teammates notice it as well. Transfer from Arkansas, who has been a great addition. He's their Dennis Rodman on the court.
That's good clarification. As Jalen Bridges will go to the free throw line. Looks like Davion Mitchell picked up another foul.
That's the drive right here. I don't know. Today, I'll say this because I think the Big 12 has very sharp officiating. I don't think this crew in 23 minutes has been as sharp as they need to be, and they're going to need to be sharp the next 17 minutes because there is a lot at stake in this game.
Checking in for Baylor, Adam Flagler.
Just saw Roger Ayers over there. He was at Syracuse last night in that North Carolina game.
Also checking in for the Bears.
That's the third on Mitchell. And everyday John back on the floor. Jonathan Tchamwa for Baylor, in spite of the fact that he has 3 fouls. So Mitchell, Tchamwa now both with 3 apiece. They're the only 2 players for either team with 3 fouls. West Virginia really no foul trouble to worry about at all. Tchamwa missed in close.
Got to make that.
Neal.
Yep, you cannot give that kind of basket away. You have to make that. A great pass from Vital. Watch this guy.
Neal with a fake and a 3.
Yep. How good is he? How good is he getting? Him, McBride, Sherman. It's as good a guards as Bob Huggins has had since West Virginia. Absolutely. These 3 guys have come into their own the second half of the Big 12 season.
Butler answers.
Big.
3-point basket by Butler.
Well, eventually this team will wake up, and they're likely to wake up before the Big 12 tournament, but the second half would be ideal, and that might be the basket that can get them going. But you'll love the way West Virginia has competed.
Butler leads all scorers with 16. That's his 4-3. McNeil a step back 2. He's got another.
This kid, Bob, played. He's from Union, Kentucky, 30 miles south of Cincinnati. He went to Bellarmine University for 2 days and transferred home. Bellarmine, of course, a D2 power at the time. Spent a year just getting himself together. 1 year at JUCO, and now he's becoming a terrific Big 12 guard.
Flagler got around McNeil. Missed the mid-range jumper. Offensive rebound, Vital. Teague with a shot fake in the corner. He's double teamed. He's in some trouble now. He stepped out of bounds. You know, Fran, it's not traditional press Virginia for West Virginia, but their defense is affecting this game.
Bob Huggins is coaching the team. What do you think, Bob? But I know this. The defense is good. This year, the offense is even better for the Mountaineers.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's. Try the new jalapeno popper chicken sandwich and salad today at participating U.S. Wendy's. Chapter 2 of Duke UNC comes up on Saturday, and we waited a long time for Chapter 1 of Baylor, West Virginia. This is the 4th time that this game finally went through a rescheduling process. That's why we had the odd 5 p.m. Eastern tip time between number 3 and number 6. But Baylor and West Virginia, it has been a good one. Bob Wischusen and Fran Fraschilla. West Virginia trying to take their first lead. Here's McNeil. He's got another, his third.
That is ridiculous. Remember, this kid barely got off the bench last year. He's got another year after this. He's a JUCO guy that transferred in as a sophomore.
First lead for the Mountaineers. They trailed by as many as 12 in the first half. Vital picked up his dribble. Chamo Chachua bailed him out.
No confidence by Baylor. They don't know when to shoot or pass.
Step back is in and out. Chamo Chachua tried to keep it alive, and McNeil saved it. Here comes Deuce McBride.
They've got an open court. If he wants to drive, he's going to be judicious. I'd guard this guy.
I was going to say they'll give it to the hot hand.
Yeah.
And he gives it back to McBride. McNeil, heat check. I think he's hot.
That is a set play that they ran. They bait the defense to the baseline drive, and they screen McNeil behind. Great execution. How good has West Virginia played the last 10 games in the Big 12? See, right now it's all one-on-one for Baylor. The ball's not moving.
Davion Mitchell, he's in trouble. 4 on the shot clock. It's a takeaway and a flush for Emmett Matthews. And a timeout called by Scott Drew. All Mountaineers right now with a 7-point lead. An explosion by West Virginia. And they have taken what once was a 12-point deficit and flipped it to now a 7-point lead. Bob Wischusen and Fran Fraschilla watching Sean McNeil put on a show. But Fran, this is a show we have seen a lot of late from Sean McNeil.
Yeah, no question, Bob. If you've never heard of Sinclair Community College, it's in Dayton, Ohio. And Bob Huggins had a JUCO friend in Ohio 2 years ago said, hey, there's a white kid in Sinclair that you need to take a peek at because he just lit us up. He sent Eric Martin over to see Sean McNeil. I told you the story. He left Bellarmine after 2 days on campus. And what an addition. Big basket by Flagler.
That was one Baylor needed as they pulled back within 4 after having to call the timeout.
This is a great test for Baylor because they will eventually get back to where they were. But this is kind of a little dealing with adversity that is going to come in handy in the next 4 to 5 weeks.
McNeil off the front rim. That was a force, but it's run down by Emmett Matthews.
It's a bad block.
Deuce McBride underneath. Taken away by Vital. Culver recovers. And now it's ripped away by Matt Meyer and a foul call.
Let's go back, Bob. Bob Huggins, the Hall of Famer, probably in the next 2 months. He knows McNeil's hot. Keep an eye on him at the top of the key. The ball is driven baseline on purpose. This is a set play. Watch Osaboyan turn and screen for McNeil. Everybody watches the ball. Nobody watches McNeil, and he knocks it down. Great set by the Hall of Famer, who's after 899 in terms of wins.
Flagler. Yes.
Basket by Flagler.
Nobody's back.
Lazy getting back on defense, trying to throw it down on the drive. Was Taz Sherman. He is fouled, and he will go to the free throw line.
His second.
I think the transformation of Sherman and McNeil has been outstanding. I was in Morgantown in November and talking to Coach Huggins, and he said these kids can make shots. They make shots. And take a look at this. And talking to Bob this week, Bob, like we got a chance to do, I asked him, I said, do you ever tell them when to shoot and when not? He goes, I'm the easiest guy to play for in the world. If you can make shots, shoot. If you can't make them, don't shoot.
He said that earlier about Sean McNeil to us this season as well. He said, all this BS I'm hard to play for, I'd love to play for me. All I'm telling Sean McNeil to do is shoot it every time he's got an open look.
Exactly.
Who wouldn't want to do that? Well, it's paying off of late, as this is the 11th time this season Sean McNeil has knocked down at least 3 threes in a game. But 8 of their last 10 games that's happened. Here's Meyer for 3. Offensive rebound. Vital. Who else? Shovels one underneath to Meyer. It caroms right to Butler for an easy 2.
Good presence of mind by Mark Vital. He was double teamed, but he pivoted away from the pressure and found the cutter. Oh, this is going to be good.
Emmett Matthews lost his footing. Here comes Davion Mitchell. Gives it up. Flagler just rolls it off the front of the rim, but he will shoot 2. A chance for Adam Flagler to tie the game when we come back. Coming up next, Bob Wischusen and Fran Fraschilla calling this one, and Jay Billis and Dan Schulman standing by to call Michigan and Illinois. And what a story Michigan has become this year as well, Fran. We've talked a lot about Oklahoma in the Big 12 coming from nowhere, out of the tournament basically in January, all the way up to the top 10. Well, not only did Michigan come from nowhere, they have stayed there now. They just keep on winning games, steamrolling competition at times in the Big 10, all the way up to number 2 for Juwan Howard.
Yeah, but let's give 3 people credit there. John Beilein left a really good program. Ward Manuel, the AD, had the foresight to hire Juwan Howard. And as I've said a number of times, Bob, Juwan Howard is not just an ex-NBA player. He's an ex-NBA coach. 6 years with Eric Spoelstra after a long career. And the guy is, to me, he's the coach of the year in college basketball, what he's done. It's been a collective effort, and I cannot wait to see the matchup between Kofi Cockburn and Hunter Dickinson tonight, 2 of the best young big guys in the country. Both of them have surprised me in how dominant they have become, and you see right there, number 1 seeds, and we've got a good one here.
The doubleheader we're doing right now could easily be the Final Four. Right, we're doing what would be a 1 seed against a 2 seed as we speak. Then we've got 2 1 seeds set to square off coming up next on Super Tuesday. It doesn't get much more super on a Super Tuesday than that.
Well, wait a minute. Who was the closest game that Gonzaga had this year with? West Virginia. 5-point game. Little zone now by West Virginia.
All right, now they've got the 2-point lead. Baylor looking for the lead back. Another offensive rebound from Mark Vital. Lost it on the way up. McCabe stripped it away. Vital and Flagler in the corner. Vital's got the loose ball.
He got 3 loose balls on that play.
He gets bumped, plus the foul.
Mark Vital he got 3 loose balls on 1 play. That's how much effort he plays with. And a great finish inside with the contact. Take a look at Mark Vital right now. That was the first one. Now it's loose. He'll get it again. And then finds the cutter.
checks in.
Osaboyan's 3rd foul. Another hustle play by Mark Vital. And Meyer at the line trying to give Baylor the lead back, and he does.
Remember what's at stake, Bob. If Baylor wins today, it'll be the first conference title in 71 years. They finished second 3 times in the Big 12.
Including last year. Backdoor. And the reverse by Jalen Bridges.
When I think of Jalen Bridges, I think of efficiency. Everything he does is within his own game right now. Nothing forced. He plays really well off the stars on this team as a freshman.
Meyer lost it. McBride gives it up. Cruising in for an easy layup is Taz Sherman.
I thought he was going to try to dunk it again. What happened? Take the two. The short two. Still pockets of sloppiness by Baylor. But a great effort by West Virginia.
Flagler with a jump stop. He lost it. It looks like a held ball, and West Virginia's got the arrow.
Possession arrow to the Mountaineers.
How long has it been, as Fran said, since Baylor has won a conference title? That's the team picture. The 1950 Southwest Conference champions were the Baylor Bears. And where was this program through off-the-court turmoil and tragedy to Scott Drew taking over? This is the 261st game that Baylor has played as a ranked team under Scott Drew. They played 2 games as a ranked team in their history before he arrived.
Almost 100 years. And this program has had, quite frankly, very little tradition. Yes, on occasion, Terry Teagle. On occasion, Vinnie Johnson. But not the history that some of the other programs in this Big 12 have had, the Kansases and the Oklahoma States. Scott Drew has built this program really from, I wouldn't even say the ground floor, I would say the basement, Bob.
Jared Butler just picked up his 3rd foul. McBride backs his way in.
Wow. How about that? Deuce is loose. Deuce can score in a variety of ways. It's a little bit of a matchup zone right now.
Teague from the wing. That comes up a little bit short. There's Vital again, trying to dig it out. McNeil ended up with the loose ball. Taz Sherman rims out a 3. Osaboyan right back outside.
I love the pace they're playing with, Bob. They're speeding Baylor up.
McBride comes up short. Myers got the rebound, and he was fouled, tripped up by Osaboyan. That will be his 4th.
Foul is whistled on Gabe Osaboyan. Picks up his 4th personal, team foul number 4.
Now, you love his energy, but they need him on the court today. Take a look. Watch Osaboyan. He's going to go after this ball. With Matthew Meyer, and he sticks the leg out. And Meyer is tripped.
So Osaboyan becomes the first player for either team to pick up his 4th foul.
Remember, Culver's got 3, Bob.
Davion Mitchell out of control. The loose ball, though, to Teague. Mitchell spots up, knocks down a 3.
3-point basket by Mitchell.
Big shot. That young man has improved that shooting as much as you possibly could, about nearly 50% behind the arc. High 40s.
10th made 3 for Baylor. Taz Sherman. Yes.
Bingo. This is all isolation basketball for West Virginia. The 3 guards, pretty much whoever's got the ball, Bob Huggins just yells, take them. It's a take them offense.
Meyer gets to the baseline. Nice feed from Butler.
I know one thing, Baylor's got to tighten up that defense because these guards are getting loose. 4 out around Culver, but they're spreading the floor and just playing isolation basketball. And it works. There they go.
Right at the elbow. That's in and out. Offensive rebound for Culver. And he will go to the free throw line. For the 4th time this season, Taz Sherman, Fran, has 20 points in a game.
Take a look. This is how he gets it done. He can do it inside, outside, step back. It's money.
And It's a 2-point game here on Super Tuesday. Bob Wischusen and Fran Fraschilla down the stretch between West Virginia and Baylor. Averaging a double-double this season is Derek Culver. He's at the free throw line. No field goals, but he has scored at the line. And Big 12 now on ESPN Plus is a must-have for Big 12 fans. Tonight, catch even more men's hoops. 15th-ranked Texas takes on Iowa State at 7 Eastern. On Thursday, the Mountaineers in action again. They host TCU at 7 Eastern. And Monday, the women in action. West Virginia meets Baylor at 8 Eastern. If you're a Big 12 fan, you gotta have it. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/Big 12 now.
Both of these teams will play Saturday. West Virginia plays, Sunday. Baylor plays Sunday. West Virginia plays Saturday. Busy week for both on Thursday.
Jordan McCabe called for the personal. His first
Slip to the goal for Flo Thamba, fouled by McCabe. Flo Thamba at 57% from the line. Will make his first trip there today.
For Baylor, Flo Thamba.
As I watch these teams, Bob, one thing that really stands out, there are very few highly recruited guys out here on this court right now. Butler was highly recruited, Davion Mitchell a little bit. West Virginia, almost nobody. Miles McBride's only major college offer was West Virginia. The two JUCO guys, neither one offered a Division I scholarship out of high school. The list goes on both rosters, and one team's number 3 in the country, the other is number 6. So there's a lesson to be learned here. I don't think anybody's opting out today.
Matthews beaten by Meyer with a hustle play, and it's going to be a cruise-in layup for Davion Mitchell, but that was made possible by Matthew Meyer.
What a save right there. He just threw it in. He didn't have to worry about it going towards West Virginia's basket, so he threw it over his shoulder.
Culver, nice look down low, spinning. Out of trouble was Bridges. Now it's Deuce McBride. Hits a three.
That play started because Matthew Meyer lost his man, and temporarily Baylor played 5-on-4, and that's how McBride got loose at the top of the key.
Butler can't knock it down. Gets his own miss. Puts it back up. That rolls off the rim.
Think about it, Bob. He rarely misses those shots.
Floater by McBride. Too strong. ACOT off the window.
Man, I thought Matthews might have got a piece of that. I just wonder how much fatigue plays a factor in this last 5 minutes, and for both teams.
Deuce McBride, no. The tip follow. Emmett Matthews, it looks like, has drawn a foul.
Baylor foul called on number 0, Flo Thamba.
Talk about hustle. Watch this right here. Watch the deflection. Here goes Meyer, throws it over his shoulder. Somehow he knows that's where Butler is. That leads to the easy basket. Good heads-up play by the junior from Austin, Texas. Bob Huggins told us this week, Bob, that the most underrated, underappreciated player on his team is the guy at the foul line, Emmett Matthews. He's virtually been a starter for 3 years. He defends 4, sometimes 5 positions. You just saw the hustle on the offensive glass. And, you know, he's just emblematic of the kind of kids that are on this roster.
Bob Huggins and West Virginia, they have had some interruptions and pauses to deal with as well. Nothing as long as the 3-week stoppage that Baylor had. And multiple times, West Virginia would miss a game because a Baylor or another team might have some positives, so they would still be able to practice. But at one point, they did have an 8-day stoppage where they couldn't practice at all either, so they fought through adversity this season too.
Absolutely. It's an unprecedented year in college basketball, and We said it in August, September, October. Let's just play the games, keep the kids safe. We've done that by and large. We're seeing great basketball. Nice pass.
It'll
Good
give
slip
and
to
go.
the goal.
Bamba lays it in.
Yeah, I think overall it's been a tremendous season based on what these kids and coaches have had to deal with. Three guards, they're going to play iso ball.
Neal gets a screen from Culver and gets double teamed. Here's Matthews. Turned it over. Meyer with a takeaway. And now a foul, and a smart one at that, given by Taz Sherman to avoid the Baylor fast break.
Foul is whistled on Taz Sherman, his first, call number 6.
Take a look, watch Butler now, little pick and roll. See Culver's up too high. Culver never drops down the level of Thamba, who gets behind him, and Culver's got the 3 fouls, so he has to be careful also.
That was West Virginia's last foul to give. So we will shoot free throws the rest of the way.
This ultimately will be great for Baylor. This kind of game, this kind of stretch, losing at Kansas, playing here. Thursday they'll play Oklahoma State at home.
We've got Bert Smith. Had come off before that foul. The shot clock should have reset and did not.
Osaboyan
Baylor
back
down
with
by
4.
2, trying to tie or take the lead. Baylor led by as many as 12 in the first half. West Virginia came back and has led by as many as 7 in the second half. And now we're right where we expected to be.
Yeah.
A 1-possession game with 4 minutes to go. Butler floats it up to Meyer. Set play. And the alley-oop works to perfection.
And you're exactly right, Bob. They took the post player out of the post. It looked like a ball screen, but all that did was give the guard a driving line, and Meyer recognized it and snuck in along the baseline. Excellent play. Set up because they had the time. The officials had to go to the monitor to set the shot clock up. Good extra timeout.
Sherman hits a 3. West Virginia back on top as Taz Sherman has 23 to lead all scores.
Bob, did you see any of this last season from Sherman and McNeil? Any of this?
Now they have blossomed this year alongside Deuce McBride into a guard trio that's going toe-to-toe today with the best guard trio in the Big 12 and maybe the nation.
And they've been better.
And just like that, on cue, announcer Jinx, Taz Sherman throws it away. We're nothing if not good. Sorry, Taz. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. Visit Progressive.com. And in part by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball.
This will be a great game.
Back to you, Bob and Coach.
All right, Jordan, thanks very much. It's about the guards in the next game. It has certainly been, Fran, about the guards in this game. We've got a 3-point game with 3 minutes to go.
No question. We know how good Baylor's guards are. West Virginia's 53 points today. Too much.
Crossing over with the left hand. Gets the roll.
Not too much. Good drive.
The no, 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 yes layup. He's got 12.
Exactly.
Taz Sherman guarded by Vital. Osaboyan bounces it low to Deuce McBride. He's double teamed. Gets tied up. Forces one up. That close to a three-point play opportunity. And if that's Davion Mitchell reaching in, that's his fourth.
Picks up his fourth personal, team foul number 8. Deuce McBride.
So once again, Bob, Osaboyan. Without Culver in the lane, Osaboyan is really good at the top of the key. That time they posted McBride, and Osaboyan is going to find him.
ESPN with a full day of college basketball action lined up on Saturday, highlighted by 2 key matchups. A couple of Sonic blockbusters at 4 Eastern, a Big Ten showdown. Number 4 Illinois taking on number 7 Ohio State. And then another Sonic blockbuster between Duke and North Carolina at 6 Eastern. Both games are on ESPN and the ESPN app. Meyer for 3. Ties the game.
Three-point shot.
West Virginia went zone. They were confused. They were pointing who's got who. Nobody had Meyer.
McNeil. Yes. His first
Can you
bucket
believe
in a
these?
while.
Can you believe these guys? They're not running plays, which is good coaching because they can all get their own shot. Sherman, McBride, McNeil.
Meyer feeling it. Why not?
Three-point basket by Meyer.
Hey, you know how I feel about this kid. He's going to be playing professional basketball someday. He has no compunction to feel pressure.
Taz Sherman puts West Virginia back on top.
Man. Now, the key is who's going to miss? The team that misses is going to lose. Can we keep it going?
Nearly perfect today for Taz Sherman. Only 2 misses and 25 points. Butler gets to the rim. Plus the foul.
Basket by Butler.
Good patience by Butler, and I think the screen, the ward-off. Watch Meyer first. Take a look. It was a zone defense that they got confused, and that's why he was so open.
That foul on Osaboyan. That fouls him out. So not only is it a 3-point play opportunity for arguably the Big 12 Player of the Year in Jared Butler, but the Swiss Army knife effort player that Bob Huggins depends upon, Gabe Osaboyan, is done.
Watch the seal inside. Butler is sizing up Bridges. There's going to be, that could have been a foul, no foul, but just watch. Patience, patience, and on the drive, look how Vital seals off Osaboyan. Osaboyan panics, tries to get back in front, commits the foul. Mark Vital quietly does his job there and allows his teammate to get to the basket.
And then Vital with a foul on the Butler free throw miss.
Whistled on number 11, Mark Vital.
That's his 3rd.
Team foul number 9.
You know, even if Baylor loses this game, Fran, you have to say this is a great sign for Scott Drew's team. Coming off the 3-week pause, he said he worried it might be a handful of games before his team looked like their old selves. Well, this is in a league that has great teams. This is about, I think, as high a level of play as we've seen in an individual game in the Big 12 this year. And why not?
No
It's
doubt.
Number 3 against number 6.
Yeah, you're right, Bob. And what if you haven't been following West Virginia this season and you think this is the good old-fashioned offensive rebounding, press Virginia, this is an offensive juggernaut in this league. This is number 1 and number 2 offensively in this league. We usually think of Bob Huggins as a defensive guy, but he's a chameleon. He coaches to his talent, and that's why he's a Hall of Fame coach.
And Culver at the free throw line with a minute to go puts West Virginia back on top.
1 minute to play.
Good matchup, but McBride doesn't want to foul.
Butler, hesitation dribble, blocked from behind by Deuce McBride. Is it out of bounds off of Butler? Roger Ayers signaled West Virginia basketball. I think they'll automatically go to the monitor to make sure they got that one right.
From there, that looks like it's going to be Baylor ball. Let's take a look. Blocked by McBride. Now, the only thing that could be why Roger made that call is because watch the follow through by Butler. And that's maybe why he called it West Virginia ball. As we know, under 2 minutes, they'll go to the monitor. They'll take a look. Watch the follow through now. There's the block by McBride.
You think Butler's fingertips stay on that basketball just a half a beat past when McBride's hand comes off after the block?
I do, Bob. To me, this looks like it's going to be West Virginia ball. If the block is good and Butler follows through.
And as in all cases of replay, the call that's made on the floor is big. That sets the precedent. So you need to see some clear-cut evidence that the call on the floor was wrong, and they will stay with the call that was made on the floor.
Yep, good piece of officiating. Tell you, great eyes. Now, these guys get a lot of heat from fans. That was a hard call to make. That follow through right there for Roger Ayers to follow that ball and realize that Butler followed through on that. That's why these guys get it right 95% of the time.
That's Fran Fraschilla. I'm Bob Wischusen. This has been a treat. 50 seconds to go. And Baylor now needs a stop.
Baylor needs to not give up a three either, one way or another. They want to keep this a one-possession game. Watch for the offensive rebound here. Keep your eye on Culver.
10 to shoot. Deuce McBride starts to go to work. McNeil looks to screen for him. He sends it to the corner and gets it back. Deuce McBride for three. That was blocked on the way in. Will Baylor use a timeout? They will not. They'll go to the rim and get stopped. Vital ends up on the baseline, shaken up, and now Baylor has to give the foul.
Well, Vital went down like he got shot. Holding his head. Let's take a look. He has the opportunity to get to the rim. I don't think there's a foul. I think Bridges made a great play. Watch Bridges get his body away. That's a great play. Jalen Bridges took his body away from the driver and blocked a shot. That is a great play by the freshman. Bob Huggins loves this kid because he can coach him every day, yell at him on occasion, and the kid never reacts negatively. Big miss.
That is a big miss by Deuce McBride. An 80% free throw shooter.
Remember how good an offensive rebounding team.
Now you're Scott Drew. You calling a timeout here?
Not necessarily. Not if you can get the ball and go.
Let's see.
I'm wondering if Bob Huggins called it.
Will use a timeout unless Bob Huggins used one. He has one remaining as well. And it will be Bob Huggins that will set his defense with 13.6 seconds to go.
Exactly. Now, for Baylor, keep in mind, the ball is usually in Jared Butler's hands here. Why? Because he's got a great ability to score at the rim. He can shoot the three. He's a pretty good distributor. If you're Bob Huggins right now, you don't necessarily want to shrink the floor and give up the three and lose the game. Maybe a little three-quarter court pressure, but not so much that you open the court up. If it were me, we would get our feet, our toes on the three-point line, play three-point line in, crowd on the drives, challenge the three.
Well, Baylor obviously can score two here, take it to the rim, and maybe get the game to overtime. But it has to be tempting if you're Scott Drew. You've got the #1 three-point shooting team in the nation. You're on the road. If you get a good, clean look from three, you can win the game and walk out of this gym with a win against a top 6 team.
You can, and it may turn out that way, but I think the first thing you do is play the game from the rim out, which means try to attack the rim, and then if you suck the defense in, and it's a clean kick-out three, we take it, and we shoot him up, and as my friend Jay Wright would say, we shoot him up or sleep in the streets.
That's a lot of options from three-point land, though, if they are able to get a clean look and set one of these 40+% three-point shooters up. Butler's got 4 made today. Meyer has made 3, and Davion Mitchell has made 4 as well. And it looks like Baylor responded with a timeout of their own to double up the strategy talk after Bob Huggins spent his last timeout.
Tell you the other
These
sneaky
teams
guy
are
is
so well coached, friend.
Yeah.
Think all the way back to when West Virginia had to call a timeout right at the start of the half. Right? They had that error where everyone ran away from Deuce McBride. He had no one to inbound the ball to. They were down to 1 timeout, which we thought might be important. And yet this West Virginia team is so well coached, they didn't even need the timeout until we got all the way down to the last 13 seconds.
Now, it's late February, Bob. This team's been together a while. Now, this is interesting. Little full court pressure here. What I don't like about this is it opens up the court.
They'll get it to Butler. 10 seconds to go.
I'd go now.
And he will. In the mid-range. He'll drive it and tie it up with 2 seconds remaining.
Woo!
Now no timeouts left for West Virginia unless Baylor's going to set their defense and call their final timeout.
Watch Butler take this ball right to Culver's chest. When you take the ball to a shot blocker's chest, you eliminate his ability to elevate. Watch this. Culver wants a jump, but he can't get any height because Butler goes right to the chest. Boom. And we know how good a finisher he is. Now this could be home run time. UB Brown play. If you go length of the floor and you throw it over and nobody touches it, you just don't want to throw this ball out of bounds. If you're West Virginia, take overtime and be happy.
Deuce McBride.
Quarterback.
He was a high school quarterback and a great one at that. Instead, we will play overtime potentially as Chamo Chachua intercepts the length of the court pass, but Baylor had a timeout remaining. And the reason they had a timeout remaining, you could see a little bit of time was added back to the clock. So that stoppage after the Butler make, where both teams went to their benches, neither team called a timeout because they went to the monitor to make sure the clock was right. They will do the same here.
Here's the catch. Now, listen, if you're watching at home, because we're in Dallas and New Jersey, we're not sure of the timeouts here. We didn't think Baylor had one left. They do. That clock's going to be reset depending on when Scott Drew called a timeout. And I got to think they're going to the monitor, Bob. But what you've got right now, remember, if it's 0.4 or higher, this can be catch and shoot right here. What I would do right here is throw the... we used to run a play called Carolina where we ended up with a corner shot down in the right corner. And the worst thing that could happen is if the defense deflects it, it's deflected out of bounds. But obviously it's going to stay 0.7, and they will have time for a quick catch and shoot. It's got to be quick. No hesitation.
It actually looks like they are going to add a little bit of time and take it up to 1.8. So, Fran,
all right,
at 1.8, do you have enough time for a dribble, maybe 2?
2. Absolutely 2 dribbles here. We have practiced this many times. A dribble per second. So if they catch the ball somewhere in the midcourt area, the Baylor player will have 2 bounces.
Oh, they're going to lob it down towards the end
no.
line. That's interesting.
No.
Meyer didn't touch it. Taz Sherman didn't touch it. So now a catch and shoot or a dribble opportunity with no time coming off the clock for West Virginia to try and win the game.
Let's watch now, because I think Scott Bobman. Well, there's no foul, so that's eliminated, but you cannot throw the ball out of bounds. A break for West Virginia.
Deuce McBride will inbound. A chance for the Mountaineers to win it. It's into McNeil. Right back McBride double clutch. And we will go to overtime between number 6 and number 3.
Your score, West Virginia 81, Baylor
Of course we will.
81. We're going to overtime.
What a terrific game between West Virginia and Baylor. Overtime in just a moment. Welcome back to Overtime, presented by Papa John's. It's Bob Wischusen and Fran Fraschilla. 5 minutes up on the clock, tied at 81. And let's check out the best stuff, brought to you by Papa John's as well.
Let's watch now. Butler gets to the rim, and we know he's a finisher. That puts this game in overtime, ultimately. Great job, a great play. Bob, I'm going to go back to the final play for Baylor. You've heard me. You've worked with me for so long. When you have 1.8 seconds on the clock, and where they reset it to, instead of having to throw the desperation play down to the rim, they would have been better off catching that ball on the run to their basket and would have had 2 bounces. I guarantee you they could have gotten near the three-point line.
And even just recognizing time and score and situation, if you're Matthew Meyer, you have to know, even if I turn it over, I have to get my hand on the basketball. Because if you touch it inbounds, then at least it takes some time off the clock and forces West Virginia to inbound it all the way down at the other end of the court. They definitely gave them an opportunity that the Mountaineers should not have had, but they played well defensively and forced a tough shot from Deuce McBride. So now a fresh 5 minutes up there. And, you know, Fran, you talked about the long layoff for Baylor. Now their legs will really be tested. Now they're playing extra minutes here on the road. And Meyer comes away with the loose ball, and Butler spins free. Maybe on Mitchell.
That should be a block. I don't understand that you could have that much contact on a drive with a player airborne to the rim and not have a call there. This crew has made some really good calls down the stretch, no doubt.
Taz Sherman in the post, comes up short.
This is actually, Bob, great exercise. This is great practice for Baylor. To be back in a close game like this on the road is going to help them regardless of the outcome of this game.
Meyer shovels one off to Vital, and he's tied up, and a foul call. So Mark Vital will go to the free throw line. Let's check in back in the studio with Jordan.
March has announced itself, and because this game is in extra time and you're looking for Illinois and Michigan, that has begun on ESPN News. We'll start back on ESPN at the conclusion of this one. Bring us home, Bob and Coach Fraschilla.
All right, Jordan, thanks very much. A minute gone by in overtime of what is a terrific Super Tuesday doubleheader. Number 3 and number 6. And as soon as we're done, we'll send it to Dan Shulman and Jay Billis with number 2 against number 4. Here's McBride. He will go to the free throw line.
Great basketball. They are just opening up the floor, allowing those guards to drive. Deuce McBride getting downhill. It's a simple game, Bob, when you have the kind of backcourts that these two teams have. What do we say? It's not the X's and O's. It's the Jimmies and the Joes.
McBride at the line. That's the 4th foul on Jared Butler. So now Butler and Davion Mitchell and Jonathan Tchamwa-Tchatchoua all have 4.
And if I'm Bob Huggins, the next time we get the ball back, we're going to drive it at Jared Butler.
Meyer creates space. In and out. Offensive rebound, Vital.
Boy, you talk about creating space. That's exactly what Mark Vital did in there. About 6'4", I don't know, 240.
They lob
Nice
it inside
catch.
to Culver, and he will go back to the free throw line.
Watch Mark Vital on this shot. Watch him wedge his way inside. Keep your eye on number 11. Meyer's going to shoot it. Vital's going to work inside of the defense. They're trying to block him out. And he's hard guy to do it. Hard guy to do that, too.
All 8 of Derek Culver's points are at the line. He does not have a field goal. He's only taken 3 shots. It's been a very guard-oriented game. But he is 8 of 9 at the free throw line. Toss in 8 rebounds as well.
And that's a guy whose free throw shooting has come and gone this year. He's a streaky shooter right now, 9 of 10.
Butler down the lane. Tried to kick it back out. It was deflected. A turnover. Taz Sherman stepped on the sideline. West Virginia gives it right back to Baylor.
Ooh, what a break. West Virginia was in transition, and Taz Sherman just bobbled that ball. Take a look. Watch Butler. He's going to lose it on the drive. Trying to kick it back. And just not a good connection between Bridges and Sherman right there.
There's a 3 from the corner for Butler.
Set play. They ran Butler along the baseline. That's why Mitchell had the ball. If you're West Virginia, you had to know something was amiss when Mitchell had the ball. That all they did was set the play up for Butler. Well done. Here comes McBride.
Eric Culver lost it, found it again. 4 on the shot clock. Deuce McBride's going to have to put one up. Instead, it's Bridges. He beat the timer and hit a 3.
Freshman. Grew up in the shadows of the campus in Fairmont.
Extra pass, shot fake by T. Steps in for 2.
What are you doing tonight, Bob? I don't think we're going anywhere. How about this? How about this game? How about this league?
Eight to shoot. Taz Sherman, size advantage on Butler. Working in the posts. Gets fouled.
Great fake.
That'll do it for Butler. Butler is done. That is his 5th foul.
Well, before he leaves, he hit a big 3 just moments ago. What a ball fake by Taz Sherman. He did this at Texas, fouling out Courtney Ramey. He did it right here. Watch this faking now. A week ago in Austin, he did the exact same thing to Courtney Ramey with 4 fouls. That time he hesitated. Sometimes, Bob, in faking, slower is better. And Taz Sherman took his time, measured up Butler, and he got Butler to leave his feet.
Well, down the stretch, Fran, Butler tied it to force overtime. Each possession of overtime, they have run their offense, and why not? He's probably the player of the year in the Big 12 through Jared Butler. Now who takes over now that he's fouled out?
Oh, they've got another pro. Davion Mitchell can do this. And Flagler can make shots, and T can make shots. The beauty of this Baylor team is that they have multiple ball handlers. You know who these two teams remind me of, Bob? Do you remember, of course, you know Villanova well. Do you remember Randy Foy, Alan Ray, Mike Nardi, Kyle Lowry?
Sure.
Both of these teams remind me of that Villanova team where you just spread the floor and the coach yells, take him, take your man.
.26 for Taz Sherman. West Virginia, they have been arguably the two best teams in this league all season. And they're playing like it. 1 minute to go in overtime. Taking his man is Davion Mitchell.
Take him. Take him. But that's Mitchell. Mitchell can do that just as well as Butler. He just defers to Butler, but Butler's gone. Same thing. Can you get those guards downhill?
Sherman lost it. Vital tried to squeeze it back to Meyer. Is it a held ball? It looks like it will be. The possession arrow will give it to Baylor with a 1-point lead with 37 seconds to go.
Now the question is, take a look now. Watch Mitchell. This is Mitchell. I mean, he's been doing this all year. You talk about a kid that's improved since he arrived here 2 years ago. All he is 44 and 5. That's all he is, 44 and 5. Now, if you're West Virginia, do you foul now? And they do. All right. So that's okay.
Gave an immediate foul.
That's okay because you stretch the game out, but you're at the mercy of free throw shooting right now.
Foul number 9.
Now.
So Flagler will step to the line. He's 2 for 2 today. Has not been to the line too often this season. On the year, he's 18 of 22.
Great story. This kid played at Presbyterian University out of Georgia, Duluth, Georgia. No Division I offers until late in his senior year. What did he do as a freshman at Presbyterian? He dropped 29 at UCLA, 20 at Dayton, 20 at Marquette.
Pressure free throws off the bench for Adam Flagler, who came on when Butler fouled out. 3-point game with a half minute to go in overtime. Deuce McBride goes to the rim. Offensive foul.
Wow. Wow. Let's take a look.
His third, team foul number 10.
Deuce trying to get to the rim. Let's watch. He's legal. He's legal. Not a ton of contact. He's definitely legal. It's a borderline call. To me, it's a charge, but it's close. He was definitely legal. It's the right call.
Shot clock is turned off. Backcourt pressure from the Mountaineers. Mitchell gets it across, and now the foul given by Jalen Bridges with 18 seconds to go in overtime.
Bob, let's take a look at the 30,000-foot view of this game. Baylor right now is 18 seconds from their first conference championship in 71 years. So, yes, these teams may meet next week. Both of them are heading to the tournament. We may be watching a little history right here.
Art Vital checks back in for Baylor.
I've got goosebumps watching these two teams play today. This is unbelievable the way they've competed.
18 seconds to go. And it looks like a timeout will be called.
Timeout called by the Mountaineers.
By West Virginia. So Bob Huggins will use his one timeout available in overtime. But yes, Fran, if this score stays the way it is, and it turns out that they clinched their first conference title since 1950 when they were last the Southwest Conference champions. Could you ever have imagined when Scott Drew walked into that Baylor locker room all the way back in 2003, 2004 to take over this program, the state it was in then, that it would have climbed this mountain and gotten all the way to the mountaintop in a very good league?
Well, let me personalize it. I know the Drew family, known him for a while. I thought Scott Drew was absolutely crazy when he took the job and left Valparaiso. I had just moved to Dallas. He took the job in Waco. And what we all didn't see was the vision he had. And his outlook on life is such that everything that's been accomplished, he actually believed could get done at Baylor. Now, if you're West Virginia, Bob, you need a 3 and a 2. So what I would do right here is let's drive it for the short 2 and maybe the N1, and then we'll set up our full court press. We'll bring 5 guys up over midcourt. Let them throw the home run ball. We'll take a chance. Because if we then get the steal, we have to remind our kids, once we get the 2 and we get the steal, we need a 3. So you have to coach this in practice every day, and it's got to manifest itself right now out on the court. Take the short 2.
It's like a football team in the 2-minute drill. When you get a clock stoppage, you have to call 2 or 3 plays in the huddle, right? You can't just call the next play.
Or how about this, Bob? How about when you have to kick the field goal because it's 4th and 10, and then you're going to take a chance and get the onside kick for the touchdown? So it's similar, but it's all about special situations right here. Only shoot the 3 if it's a wide open one and not a hand-in-your-face 3. Historically, Bob Huggins likes to shoot the 3 here. Kevin Jones hit one back in 2009 or 10 in a similar situation.
They get it to McBride on the run. They need a couple of scores. Can't allow too much time to come off the clock, and now he picks up his dribble. Now we're down to 8 seconds to go. Here's McNeil, 4-3. That's no good. Tapped around. Bridges has it, but time's going to run out on the Mountaineers. What a win for Baylor. Welcome back to the Baylor Bears. They are the champions in the regular season of the Big 12. And as we said, it is their first conference championship in 71 years. You think Scott Drew knows it?
I would say so. What character these guys showed. What a game. Both teams. So many big plays. Hustle, shots. I didn't expect Baylor to play this well, Bob. They got better as the game went on. And forget the fact that they're celebrating a championship. Think about what this team has been through in the last month.
There's our player of the game, brought to you by Phillips 66. Jared Butler, why not? 25 points and 6 assists. And he might roll with a performance like this on the road against the 6th-ranked team in America, right from player of the game to player of the year in the Big 12. Don't you think, friend?
He's got my vote. I wanted to see it today. I saw it today.
How much fun was that? We can only hope that Illinois and Michigan give you just as much entertainment. They are underway. It is time to join the Illini and the Wolverines. For Fran Fraschilla and our entire crew, I'm Bob Wischusen. Thanks so much for watching. It's time to send it to Dan Schulman and Jay Billis. Dan?